bodybuilding's already a rough sport, physically, psychologically, hormonally. How much are you thinking about longevity at the moment and the trade-offs?
That's one thing I'll bring up, because it's like guys will ask me, it's like, are you going to move to open? Are you going to, or it's, can't wait to see you as Mr. Olympia. Like as though that's the track that I'm on. And for me, it's more so, it's like, okay, what am I willing to do that adds to this whole thing with bodybuilding that will take me, a certain degree of distance, right? Because if you're a top level Olympia competitor, that comes with its own things, like it's not as though bodybuilding on a competitive level is, and I might not be the one to say recommend, because I'm not like a complete G of bodybuilding, like a Jay Cutler or like a real commentator or a judge would be, who's been in the sport for years. But it's like, it's not something to be pursued forever. Like actually, the bigger I've gotten, the more I've started to be content with the size that I already am, where I used to imagine 300-pound Sam Sulek. I'm like, yeah, once I get to 300, that'll start to be. But it's something where when you actually get to a different position, just over time and like through progress, you're going to have a different perception of like what you actually want. Because even though you may have reached that level from having a certain goal, now you're a completely different person with different circumstances. And as good as that goal may have been to motivate you in the beginning, like sometimes that can change.
Yeah, dude, that's
and it's not a giving up. It's just you've gotten a better perspective, and now you know more to make a better decision.
That's a really fantastic point. That adjusting your goals as you get closer to them, to some people feels like seeding ground. You've already done the hard part. Why are you not applying more pressure and really, really pushing? Yeah. But the same as what you considered to be a good dish when you were starting out as a chef will not be what you consider to be a good dish as you become more sophisticated. Yeah. And that dish may be more simple. So you may start out making these really complex things with 500 ingredients, and you think, well, actually, just a good pasta. Like I can just nail a good pasta, and I think that that's pretty sweet. So yeah, the ability to discern good from bad, like taste, like what's something that's a tasteful goal for me to go towards? What's something that resonates? How do I realize as I get closer to something that maybe the ladder I was climbing was kind of leaning up against the wrong wall a little bit, so I'm just going to adjust it, and I'm going to keep climbing over here.
And it's with bodybuilding, at least, there's a few examples. I mean, actually, I'm sure there's thousands where it's not highlighted on social media, so I wouldn't have any input on when this might happen. But with bodybuilding, it's not something I'd recommend for everyone. Like when I see I'd say its prevalence now, like the idea of I need to be a bodybuilder, or like a younger guy saying I have to be able to get on stage at a certain point. I think it's a bit overinflated in its value, because it's very showy. You only see that like little flashy kind of point at the end. And it's also in a scope of social media where like as much as I'm not trying to overdo it and make myself like look cooler or better, or like portray a crazy lifestyle that I might actually live, like it's still kind of flashy in its presentation. So if you get obsessed with like the idea of something, to actually approach what that real thing is, and now your idea of it is actually going to become a real understanding of it. And you'll realize like, shit, man, I like there's guys where they have gone pro, like they really got into it. They were 100% serious. And then they realize this isn't for me. I'm going to not like backpedal isn't the right word. I'm going to just redirect towards something which I actually value now. And if at any point that would happen, then that's what I would do.
How do you now personally weigh health versus aesthetics? You've got this.
Well, I mean, everybody, there's actual like numerical metrics. Everyone's getting their, like, honestly, I think everybody should be getting their blood tested, even just out of curiosity.
That's something you're doing regularly?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's definitely, like, anybody who's serious about bodybuilding, they're all getting relatively extensive blood tests pretty regularly. And if they're not, then like you are missing out. But what sucks is actually it's, I'm kind of spoiled because my general practitioner will order all my stuff, like a full panel of everything. Whereas a lot of doctors, like I'll hear stories where it's like, can I just get my test leveled? A normal dude. Nah, you're young. You don't have to worry about something like that. And it's, like, I mean, I'm sure you've got your own take on it, but it's just kind of this behind the curve sort of thing. Because that's something like, what if you're a guy where you're straight up hypogonadal and you might be literally whatever value is barely any.
Mm-hmm.
That could totally...
The 150s or the 200s or something.
Well, I'm saying like if there was somebody where they were under 100
mm-hmm.
and it's like, you didn't have any control over that. And if your hormones are totally out of whack, then that would be warrant for intervention. And that was something that would be totally like doctor viewed. But what I see a lot is you could take that statement and stretch it as far as it could go to justify the craziest things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's with, and I see it a lot in training, a 50-year-old ex 900-pound squatter, complete, like real experience and respected in the space, will make a video and he's training now still. And he's been training for 40 years or 35 years. And he'll say, right now it's back squats. They're just not, the reward to wrist to reward ratio, it's not there. It's too much on my lower back. My knees they've been kind of worn. So for me, I've got to stick to more like lighter leg press and, just more kind of stable movements. And that's backed by his situation. And someone who is kind of starting a little earlier in the gym, they might have an awesome like grasp of everything, will hear that. And then that's an easy argument to say, well, this guy said you don't even need to squat. I'm not squatting. Dude, squats, like not even an acceptance of like, I don't want to squat. That's why I don't do it. But just this, trying to bring the bar down to their level of like, well, I'm not willing to squat. I don't want to do it. If I can justify why I don't need to do it, then actually I'm not skipping anything. I'm doing it right by doing less.
What's the line? What's the linkage or analogy between that and the bloods?
Yeah, well, it's just because then somebody could say, oh, my test was probably super low anyway. They didn't even get a test. Somebody could say, it's like, I was looking at WebMD and it's like so I don't bring that up as much, but the normalcy and like the kind of the conditioned of just like, that's not a big deal. Like that's not something I'm
Let me give you this. According to the American Urological Association, 25% of patients on TRT never had their testosterone checked. 1/3 weren't even deficient. I saw that last week.
But what's the age demographic? Because if that's still like what somebody would conventionally say a normal age to be, like a 35 above, I think that's a much different situation than anything earlier. Because you're literally still a developing dude. That is a thing that you are messing with, which is not just like, it's just, whatever.
This episode is brought to you by Momentous. Trust really is everything when it comes to supplements. A lot of brands may say that they're top quality, but very few can actually prove it, which is why I partnered with Momentous. They make the highest quality supplements on the planet, and I've fallen in love with their Whey Isolate protein powder. It's grass-fed. It is a super convenient way to get more protein into your diet, lean muscle mass, muscle growth, recovery, all that stuff. But most of all, it just tastes phenomenal. Most clean proteins do not taste good, and this is better than anything else. It's also NSF and Informed Sports certified, meaning that even Olympic athletes can use it, and it is guaranteed to be free of banned substances. Best of all, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it completely risk-free, use it every single day. How many servings is in this? 25 servings in this. Use it every single day for a month. If you don't like it, they'll just give you your money back. That's how confident they are that you'll love it. Plus, they ship internationally. And right now, you can get 35% off your first subscription and that 30-day money-back guarantee by going to the link in the description below, or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom, using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's 35% off livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ooh, a tasty morsel of a conversation for you there. Well, full meal available right here. Go on. Press it.